Hey everyone, Alex Turri here, and this is going to be called Turri's Lockup. So what we're going to be doing for this segment is I'm going to be going through every ACC game and their spreads, and I'm going to give you my locks. Be with me here, bear with me here. We're going to be good, we're going to be bad, we're going to lock it in regardless. So first we have Georgia Tech Clemson plus 37. Last season Clemson only covered 30-point games once. Georgia Tech may not be as good, but 37 points is a lot. I'm not going to touch Clemson on that one. Just a little hard to stick with Clemson when it comes to the spread. Even though we did have a good year last year, historically we're not great. So Clemson, not hitting that one. Going to take Georgia Tech on that. Utah State and Wake Forest. This is at 3.5 for Wake Forest is actually favored. Don't get me wrong, these MACtion teams, these Sun Belt teams, Utah State, I think they're really good teams, especially the quarterback. I think Bryce Love, it's kind of like, Bryce Love, the running back, but this is Bryce Love for Utah State. Threw for 3,500 yards last year. He's a legit NFL caliber quarterback. Does that mean he's going to be able to go to Wake Forest away, a Power 5 conference team, and beat them? No, I don't think so. I think Wake has that. So we're going to lock in Wake there at minus 3.5. ECU and NC State. ECU is not favored at 16.5, and NC State is favored at 16.5. I don't see any way to not lock in NC State. Last season these teams played, the score was 58-3 in favor of NC State. And this is at NC State. Are we expecting ECU to just turn it all over and make up that 55-point difference? No, that's not happening. I mean, you could think it's going to happen. It's not happening. So NC State's going to cover that. I mean, also, Finley may be gone, but they've got two studs in McKay. I hear he's going to be the starter, but they're still going to be splitting time early. And then Florida State transfer Bailey Hockman. He's got some wheels on him. Like, he can run. When you're seeing both of those guys week one, it's hard to just say, oh, I'm going to go, oh, we're going to plan for this quarterback and this quarterback that we've never seen before. How are you going to do that? No way. NC State locks in at 16.5. Alabama is favored against Duke, 34.5. You're not going to see me touch the 30-point games a lot, but Bama's covering this. I'm sorry. Daniel Jones is gone. Duke is on the decline. Duke's North Carolina of last season. What did North Carolina go? 3-9? That's Duke this year. I love Duke. I'm a big Duke fan. I'm a big Duke football fan too. They play hard all the time, and their secondary always puts up a fight. But without my guy Daniel Jones, sorry, that's Bama's game. Next game, we got South Carolina and North Carolina. You're going to learn a lot. I do not like North Carolina, especially this season. I do not see them improving a bunch from last season, and South Carolina's only favored 10 points here. Is Deebo Samuel's disappearance going to cause South Carolina's offense to just combust and destroy? No way. Bentley throws the ball all the time. They're going to be airing out the ball. 10 points I don't see what Vegas is seeing there. This should be a very even state rivalry game. I don't see it being close. I don't see North Carolina putting up that fight that they may have 2 or 3 years ago when they actually had players that can play. So North Carolina, you're not my team. You will not be my team a lot this year. Now we're going to get into a little more tricky ones here because we have Va Tech and BC. BC is favored by 5 points. I think Va Tech has such a close score here because they're one of those big teams where everybody going into the season will say, oh, it's Va Tech. They're going to have people coming in. They're going to be able to turn around. That's going to be a tough turnaround, especially going against A.J. Dillon, who's going to run the ball 25 to 30 times a game, depending on how healthy he is. BC is going to control the clock. Their defense is going to play tough, and their defensive line is apparently really good this year. So, and I do think BC is the second best team in the ACC, if we're being honest. I really do think they are. So I'm going to take BC there. I think they win by 7. Maybe close, but I do think they win by 7. Perfect one. This is my favorite. This is not my mortal lock, but if we're locking in one for the ACC, Syracuse is favored 18 against Liberty. 18 for the 22 ranked team in the country. Losing Dungy was great, but Dungy made a lot of mistakes. Dungy would throw the ball downfield, scrambling 20 yards out of the pocket. He was good, but he wasn't great. This guy they have coming in, Tommy DeVito, this is Syracuse's best recruit class that they've had in 10 years, I think. And DeVito is supposed to be a stud. If he's able to step in and play well right away, which I do think he will because he's going up against Liberty, this team wins by 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. So that minus 18, I'm locking that in. Another good one. This one makes me very happy. I'm very happy about this one because we have Boise State at plus 4.5 against FSU. FSU being favored opening week against Boise State. Boise State was better offensively in every single offensive category. Every single one last season. Yards per carry, touchdowns, yards on the ground, yards in the air, every single one. Like, you can call it anyone you want. They're all there. Boise State was better. Florida State has Willie Taggart's first year. He was left with a mess. You think he's going to come in and beat one of the non-Power 5 conference teams that actually could play in a Power 5 conference? Boise State wins this by 10, maybe 12, maybe even 14. Take Boise State. I'm very excited about that game. So now we have my avoid at all costs game. UVA and Pitt. UVA is favored by 2.5. If you ask Robert, Robert says take UVA. I do think UVA is really good too. Their defense should be really good this year. Pitt is losing a lot too. But at the same time, I feel like Pitt is always going to be a team that's going to compete in conference. They just, of recent, they've been competing in conference. They like the competition. They like proving people wrong. They will run the ball against you. They'll try to throw the ball against you. I'm avoiding that. I do trust Robert with the minus 2.5 towards UVA. So if you're going to go one, UVA is probably the bet, but I don't know. That's not what I'm taking. Last ACC team we have here is Notre Dame and Louisville. Notre Dame is favored by 20 points. Notre Dame's a far away better team. Louisville was atrocious last year. They get good recruits in every year, but freshmen in very minor case scenarios, you're going to see them perform like Trevor did last year or Justin Ross did last year. So I would lock that in at minus 20. That's all ND. And then this is my lock of the week, the out-of-conference lock of the week that you have to take. You're going to hear a lot about Army football this year because they might be my lock every week. They're a 10-2 team. Their schedule is, how many teams are there, Robert? 128? 130? Their schedule is probably 110th, strength-wise. They're going to play cupcakes. And they're favored 21.5 against Rice. Rice? Stop. That's a 5-touchdown difference. Army is going to be legit this year. And Army is going to take that next step. If they win it out, which they probably won't win out, but if they win out, it would be hard to not put them in the playoff with how good of a roster this team actually has. For the first time since the 40s, I love it. Big Army guy. And that's all we have for you today, actually. I'm going to be doing this every week. Please come by, take my takes. We'll keep track of the record, how I'm doing. If you don't like how I'm doing, leave comments, let me know. I'll try and answer them. Thank you so much. This was Turri's Lockup.